Hello, everybody. Let me pull up my lower third here and make sure everything is copacetic and working correctly. Once again, it is Friday night, and you know what that means. It means another episode of Tarot by Hilary live. Before I get into introductions, let me just double check that this is working because sometimes you never know. You never know if technology actually works. Let me see. Double checking. And if any of our regular viewers are here and want to also do that tech check for me, it would be most appreciated. Things seem to be running possibly a little bit slow right now. Hold on. Let me double check my connection. No, it looks like we're up and running. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Just wanted to make sure. All right. So before my introductions, I am going to go ahead and play our normal evergreen show intro. And I will be right back in 20 seconds as soon as I find where the heck I put that. Hold, please. There it is. Got it. Found it. Love it. All right. Yep. See you guys in 20 seconds. All right. So welcome everybody to another episode of Tarot by Hilary Live. I am your hostess with the mostest, Hilary of tarotbyhilary.com, professional tarot reader and EFT tapping practitioner, demystifying the mystical and putting you in touch with the most beautiful gifts, your own intuition, because yes, my friends, do not argue with me. You have intuition. I firmly believe that everybody has intuition. And sometimes when you feel like you don't have intuition, tools, divination tools like the tarot or Lenormand or playing cards or crystal ball scrying or the I Ching or throwing charms, these are all tools that can help remind us to access our intuition. That's the point. So tarot is my main squeeze to accessing my intuition, but yours may be different. And so these episodes that happen every week on Friday are about different metaphysical topics, whether it be about intuition in general, tarot, the court cards, charms, spirit boards, mediumship. We've done it all over the last almost 4 years that I've been doing this pretty much weekly. So on this particular episode, I wanted to do things a little bit differently. We have done this before. We have done tapping before. And this week, I was featured in Gala Darling's group tapping program that she does every week, every Sunday, called High Vibe Honey. And this particular week, she did one on accepting love, being accepting of love. And I was selected as one of the graduates of her tapping certification to continue along that theme and provide a mini tapping afterwards to kind of like seal the deal. And it was a tapping that I didn't know I needed until I did it. And I decided maybe people need that right now. Maybe people need to hear or experience that exact tapping. So earlier today, I looked over the video replay and I made notes of exactly what I said on Sunday. It was definitely coming from my heart. It was definitely off the cuff at that moment. And I just transcribed everything that I said. So we're going to do it. We're going to do that little mini tapping as the cornerstone of tonight's episode. So we have some regular viewers here. We've got Fran here saying good evening. Good evening to you, Fran. Welcome to the broadcast. We also have Katie, who is a regular OG of the Tarot by Hilary live broadcasts every week. Hello, Katie. So welcome. And if you are watching the replay, welcome to you too. If you're watching live, obviously, welcome, welcome, welcome. And if that sounds good to you, please let me know in the comments. And also, we're going to specialize this a little bit too for those people that are attending this live. I want you to start thinking about the concept of love in all of its different forms and whether or not you're accepting of love and support in your life, whether it's been hard for you to accept love, whether it has been not a matter of it being hard for you, but it feels like there's no one out there. It's just like, if I can grab my microphone here and tap, 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 is this thing on? Hello, universe, where are they? Where can I find someone to love? You know, this tapping's for you. So Katie is saying, yay, tapping. Yes, fantastic. If you're not familiar with tapping, I will definitely tell you a little bit about tapping before we get started. But before that, we have a couple of mainstays of the episodes. We are not doing a mid-episode reading in lieu, because we are doing a tapping in lieu of that. So that is for everyone. So no mid-episode reading contest happening this particular week. It usually does happen every week, and that is definitely fun to do for me, and definitely something that has been very popular since I introduced it quite a few months ago. But when I'm doing something that's tapping related, I feel like that in and of itself is enough of a lot of moving energy and lots of energy moving that I cannot, I would not be able to do both. It's just a lot. It's very overwhelming. So, but yeah. Think about the concept of love. Think about the concept of being accepting of love, thinking about love in all of its different forms, platonic, relationship, romantic, etc. Speaking of that, Mr. Tarot by Hilary is right beside me right now and is probably leaving.
Yes.
Yes.
Texted me saying that was right.
Okay, cool.
So
Are you going to wait downstairs then?
Yeah, hopefully I'll see you.
Hopefully. I'll text you.
Okay.
So what I was saying before, though, is that we have a couple of mainstays of these episodes. So one of the mainstays, one of our more recent mainstays, which is the mid-episode reading, we are not doing tonight because we are doing tapping. But the other two mainstays that we are doing are the astro-weather, based on Teresa Reed's The Tarot Lady's wonderful Astro Biz Digest, which we usually start the episode with. And then at the end of the episode, after we've done the tapping, after we've talked or, I answer some questions or, the main meat of the episode, when we're ending the episode, we will do the weekend forecast, which is when I pull either a tarot card or an oracle card to read the energy of the weekend so that you can go into the weekend prepared and not scared. So some of you who have been watching this live stream for a very long time know the drill, of course, and they're always welcoming to new members of the Tarot by Hilary crew. But yeah, if that sounds good to you, whether you're watching live or watching the replay, give me a hell yeah in the chat or in the comments, and let's get started with the astrology. There are some big astro events happening this week. We're moving into, I believe we're moving into Leo season. Yes, Leo season. Cancer season is ending and Leo season is beginning, if it hasn't begun already. And then and this is off the top of my head, we also do have Venus retrograde, which is starting tomorrow. So we've got a lot of events happening. Okay, cool. So Katie says, sounds awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Awesome possum. All right, so let me show you. Here's the AstroBiz Digest. And here is the info for the AstroBiz Digest. It is $99 for a year-long subscription. And the link is in the chat if you'd like to purchase it for yourself. I'm also displaying it on screen right now. $99 for the year for astrology in layman's terms, sent directly to your inbox for each week, each month of the year. It is geared towards entrepreneurs and business owners, but I have found it to be very beneficial in my own personal life too. So if it's interesting to you, and I only give a snippet of it, I usually do only the big events, and then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, because I want you to have a taste of Teresa Reed's work. I'm not going to give you the whole enchilada because I want to be able to direct you towards her work so you can purchase it for yourself. All right. So let us pull up the AstroBiz Digest. July 17th to July 23rd, 2023. Okay, so new moon in Cancer. New moon in Cancer arrives Monday at 2:32 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. A glorious lunation best for creating security, cozy office vibes, and better client care procedures. An update today will set you up for success for the rest of the year. Now, keep in mind, that was Monday. If you're thinking about purchasing a new building or moving your office, this is an excellent time to do so or to begin your search. Set intentions for stability, real estate, and strong client relationships. You can learn how to do that with New Moon Astrology by Jan Spiller. Now, that's something that Teresa recommends every new moon, is New Moon Astrology by Jan Spiller. Heads up, Venus is retrograde from the 22nd until September 3rd. During this transit, you'll want to keep your spending in check. If you don't need it, don't buy it, period. Clients could be dramatic now, too. High maintenance types and entitled freebie seekers will test your patience like never before. Boundaries are a must if you want to avoid tearing your hair out. Speaking of hair, avoid drastic haircuts and plastic surgery. Neither one ever goes well during a Venus retrograde. Shaving your head or getting a facelift can wait. Leo season is here when the sun enters the sign of the lion on the 22nd. So Venus is going retrograde on the 22nd. That's tomorrow. And sun enters the sign of Leo also tomorrow on the 22nd. You've got 4 good weeks to level up your visibility. If you've been lax on your PR, now is the time to shine bright and big. Get new headshots, create fresh presentations, pitch the media, and put your face in every spotlight. This can create a massive bump in your revenue. The sun will be in Virgo on August 22nd. So those are the big events that are happening this particular week. So we've got a lot of astro energy coming at us this week and this weekend in particular, with both Venus going retrograde and with Sun moving into Leo. All right, let me go ahead and hide that. All right, are we ready for the specifics of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday? Give me a hell yeah in the chat. And I'm gonna hydrate with my iced coffee. That has started to become a Friday night ritual for me. Going for therapy and then going and getting an iced coffee. I like it. I like having rituals. I like having routines. All right. Friday. So today, Friday, July 21st, the morning is clear. So don't sit still. Get to work. That Virgo moon is still operating, giving you the wherewithal to accomplish every goal. Make the most out of this vibe and you will win big. Reminder, it's amazing for editing. Chop through those piles of words and your work will be lean and mean. Pitch publishers on the fly. Pitch publishers or fly the friendly skies when the moon trines Jupiter at 2:30 p.m. The energy is optimistic AF too. Make sure your marketing is the feel-good kind. Once the sun opposes Pluto at 11:53 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, egomaniacs and control freaks will be out in droves, but you'll be out of the way, resting up and sidestepping that nonsense. Today, Friday, July 21st, is a power day for Virgo and a weekday for Pisces. Yeah, I hope to be asleep by 11:53 p.m. Thank you very much. All right, Saturday. Saturday, Mercury trines Chiron in the wee hours of Saturday morning, casting the perfect glow for healing conversations over the entire weekend. This is good energy for inspirational marketing too. So speak from your heart, whether you're having a one-on-one or connecting with your community. This is also an excellent time. Like, I'm glad that we're doing the tapping on being accepting of love. I think it's kind of perfect, especially for Mercury trining Chiron tomorrow morning. Healing conversations, good energy, speaking from the heart, etc. The moon Uranus trine at 10:48 a.m. is super fab for making an online splash. Whatever you do, make it unique. Don't go for trends when you can capture eyes with something outside of the box. Saturday evening finds Venus stationing retrograde at 9:33 p.m., followed by the sun drifting into Leo. We've already talked a little bit about that at the top of the astro-weather. Sunday, the Libra moon shifts the focus to relationships. It's an excellent day to network or strengthen current partnerships. Mercury square Uranus at 5:39 p.m. creates sudden changes of mood. The public is distracted, folks are touchy, and it's best not to push buttons. Instead, lay low and rest up. You'll be glad you did. Saturday is a power day for Virgo and a weekday for Pisces, and Sunday is a power day for Libra and a weekday for Aries. Whew, a lot of energy, a lot of astro energy going on this weekend. All right, so at this point, I usually like to open up the floor for other days of the week. If Monday was a little bit strange and you wanted to know the astrological reason why, let me know in the chat, or Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday. I'm not going to give you the whole hog because I don't think that's very fair to Teresa, but I will give you little snippets of it to make sense of it. Katie says, I like the resting idea. I like the resting idea too, but unfortunately, I think I am working on Sunday. So I don't necessarily know if I'll be able to do that. For tonight and for tomorrow, all day tomorrow, yes, for definite. For Sunday, I don't think I'm going to be able to. All right, Katie says, nothing for me. Okay, Fran, how about you? Yesterday was really good for me. So I don't know if any of you were watching my IG, my gram of Insta yesterday morning, but I was getting really freaked out about the talk that I was doing for a library yesterday evening. And I don't know why. I don't know why I do this. I think it's like part of my process on writing or creating workshops or tarot talks or, you know, speeches or classes. Where I get freaked out first, I get nervous first. I think that I'm not going to be able to fill the time or I have nothing to say. And then I find out, you know, when I start writing or when I start really thinking about it, that I have a fucking lot to say about tarot. I don't think I will ever run out of things to say about tarot. And that was definitely the case last night. So it turned out really, really great. Great turnout, great pre-registration, a lot of great questions too. Some of those questions I anticipated, which is really funny. Like one of them was, how many decks do you own? And I was just like, see, I knew it. I knew someone was going to ask me this question. See, and I like rifled through my notes and I was like, see, right here. And they all laughed. because I was just like, I choose not to say because I've never counted, because I've never really wanted to know how many tarot decks I actually have. If I had to guess, it's probably 80 to 100 tarot decks. Certainly definitely feels that way after the move. Oh. Oh, okay. Is that a good thing? I hope so. But yeah, it was just very funny that I was able to anticipate that particular question. And then at one point I was handing out decks, and the library director, who's my friend, who asked me to come and do this talk, she was like, "Oh, do you want me to help pass out decks?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, sure." It's just like, so I had them at the front of the room, and I was just like, which decks are interesting you? What is catching your eye? They're all tarot decks. So I wanted to kind of show the variety of different. Oh, I see what you mean, Fran, about the gram of Insta that I did the other day. Sorry. So I was showing the different variety of tarot decks and basically trying to illustrate, like, all of these are tarot decks. Every single one of them is a tarot deck. And so I wanted to be able to show, like, there's such variety in tarot decks now that it's just like not being able to find a tarot deck that works for you. It's just like there's kind of no such thing anymore because there's such a variety. And that don't be confused, because all of these are tarot decks. And all of these will have the basic structure of a tarot deck. Like, all of these have the Fool, all of these have the World, all of these have the Three of Swords. And basically saying, if you have an understanding of the tarot, you could read with any of these decks, conceivably. And so people were, it's like, oh, I want to take a look at that one. Oh, I want to take a look at that one. And so my friend and I were like passing out the different decks. And there was actually one person that I tried to hand them a deck, and they were just like, they did not want to touch the deck. They didn't want me near them. They didn't want the tarot deck near them. And then apparently at some point during my talk, probably early on, they ended up leaving. And I didn't even notice at that point. I was in the middle of teaching. So like, I didn't notice, because I was in the middle of teaching. I was absorbed in a question, or I was like working with somebody. I didn't notice that this person left. And it wasn't until later on, when I was like cleaning up and everyone had gone, and I was like packing up my decks and putting, my papers away, that my friend commented to me, like, that was a really great turnout. Oh, did you notice that person left? And I'm just like, no, I did not notice that at all. And I'm just like, who left? And she was just like, the person that like didn't want to touch the tarot deck. And I'm like, okay. And so she was just like, I don't know why that is, considering like it was very clear this was a talk on tarot. I don't know what that person expected. Like, why would you attend it and then walk out? Yeah. Yeah. Katie has the right of which LOL. Yeah, probably. And there, they didn't even wait for the, some of the myths of tarot or the different questions. Cause I was just like, I wanted to give the basic structure of the tarot. I wanted to be able to give baselines. And then I wanted to be able to get into people's questions. And that was one of the questions: is tarot evil? And I'm just like, no, tarot is a tool. So it's just like, if you want to be evil about it, then yeah, sure, tarot can be evil. But if you're, it's in the wielder, basically. But tarot is neither good nor bad. And the same thing can be said for the tarot cards. There is neither good nor bad cards. It's all about context. And I do think that there is a bit of fear around it. And like, where did this fear come from? Where did this concept of it being evil come from? And I was just like, I think people just like to be very glib about it, very short or concise about it. I think people fear what they don't understand. That's the bottom line. And I was just like, and then also, there was some of that Bible thumping, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. And I did mention a little bit about, like, I don't know who designs bookstores, but oftentimes they put the New Age books right across from the Bibles. And I'm just like, I just want to look at books. I don't need to be preached to, just like Jesus is a great guy, but I don't believe that. I don't believe he is my savior, or, like, he's a cool guy, but don't necessarily want to be preached to. I just want to get a book from the New Age section and go grocery shopping. So I'm just like, I didn't think people like you existed and in the world, but you've proven me wrong. So that got a few laughs, but also I was addressing some of the myths of tarot, which is tarot evil? No. I've been reading for 26 years now. That makes me feel really weird to say. 26 years, and 18 of those years that I've been reading, I've been doing readings professionally. So I've been reading tarot and working with tarot and reading for people for a very, very long time. And if I believed it to be evil, then I probably wouldn't have been with it for this long. And some of the things that I was saying, like, people were raising their hands and they were just like, this sounds like it can be therapy to some people. And I'm just like, absolutely, it can be. And I gave the example of Reader's Studio and how one year they had an entire one-day-long conference on tarot and psychology, in which people that are licensed therapists talked a little bit about, or discussed a little bit, how they use tarot or how they use oracle cards with their clients. So it can absolutely be used for way more than just divination, way more than seeing the future. So yeah, I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about my tarot talk. That went very well. So Katie says, the story of King Solomon impacts many, but he didn't use the tools of tarot properly. He just gave in. Mm-hmm. And I don't quite know the story of Solomon, so I might need to do a refresher on that. But I would assume that's kind of where all of that comes from. But it's just like there's people in the Bible that were prophets that were not evil. So, like, very strange. So anyway, wanted to talk a little bit about that. Yes. Okay, that's coming back to me. He got told he would lose the war, so he didn't fight. That's a very interesting concept of readings and what they can be used for, and how some people will use the information in the tarot reading as an excuse for something or against something. So it's just like, oh, okay, well, if it's going to turn out this way anyway, whatever. But that's not how I read tarot. That's never been how I've read tarot. I am not a fatalistic reader. I know that the future is not set in stone, and that a lot of things are changeable. And from my knowledge, when we see something that is future leaning, we can do one of three things with it, I believe. We can either avoid it entirely, we can mitigate the circumstances, or we can prepare ourselves emotionally for it. So sometimes we can change the outcome, and sometimes we're not able to change the outcome, but we are able to prepare for that outcome. The example that I give all the time now is when my dad died suddenly, and people are kind of like, whoa. Because that was very stunning, and I didn't see it happening in the cards. I was blindsided by it. I had no indication of any of that. But when he was in the hospital, I did receive a card, and it was not the death card. And both my sister and I happened to look at it at the exact same time. We happened to be in the same room when I was doing my daily card pull, and we both looked at each other, looked at the card, looked at each other, looked back at the card, and both of us knew that he wasn't going to make it. And why? Why would both of us, by the way, my sister is not a professional psychic, why would both of us get that message? It was to prepare ourselves, you know? Couldn't change it. Couldn't change the outcome. Certain things you just can't fight. So, yeah, Katie said it would give me reason to fight and exactly change the outcome. If you leave the house, a tree will fall on your head. I mean, like, there's no, I could walk at the house right now and be hit by a bus. That is the point of being mortal. That's the point of having a human life. It's just like I was during my library talk last night, someone asked me, are there any subjects that are taboo or off the table or not meant to be asked about? And I was like, well, after hearing me talk for a few minutes, what do you think? I think I'm of the personal opinion that, yes, ethics do come into play, but it's about your ethics. And I think that, no, there is no question that is taboo. It is how we ask the question, how we frame the question, how we go about it. If we go about it with respect to our clients or to ourselves or towards the tool, then no, I don't think there is any question that's taboo. I think it has to be rooted in respect, though. Respect for the tool, respect for what we are and are not meant to know. And there were a couple of people that were nodding their heads when I said that. So, yeah, and some people did bring their decks, which is very, very cool. So some people brought their classic Rider-Waite-Smith 909 US copyright US Games 1971, I think, something like that. With the plaid back. Some people had I can't remember which deck it was, but it's the one with the green and white back to them. Some people had the one with the blue background with the yellow stars, kind of like the Radiant Rider-Waite-Smith. So actually that one's right next to me over here. And I brought a bunch of different decks. I brought my Gilded Tarot Royale, which is a little bit bigger than even regular tarot card size, to be a demonstration of different things or different cards. And, answering any questions that people had. And what really, changed the energy of the room was when I released the decks into the crowd and passed them out, and people started to interact with these cards and interact with these images. I was just honestly, I think that the imagery and the symbolism of the tarot speaks to the soul. It speaks to our souls, and there may be no time in our lives that we can actually pinpoint when we've seen these images before, but there's something about tarot and the archetypes of tarot that are instantly recognizable to people, that there's something in us that is stirred by these images. And there's something about these images that piques our inspiration or intuition. And I said this a couple of times, especially for the minor arcana and the pip cards, which are the ace through 10. It's just you have to have imagery. You have to have a story on each and every card, especially if you're learning. It can be very, very difficult to learn with a very simple deck at first, or one with only 4 wands on a blank background. There's nothing for our intuition to hook onto to begin to story tell, because that's kind of what we do as human beings. We tell stories. We're a storytelling species. And I think that is a part of how we connect is storytelling. And that also there's a part of it that is intuition and collective unconscious based in our storytelling nature too. And I feel like I'm getting very timey-wimey and like, whoo. So let's talk a little bit about tapping. Unless, of course, anyone has any questions about tarot in general and like some of the concepts that came up during the tarot talk that I gave last night. Oh, wait. And also, I'm going to grab some water too, because if we're going to do some tapping, we need to grab some water. Even though I could probably use this and be highly caffeinated when doing this tapping. But I also don't want to. So I'll wait and then we'll do tapping. But grab your water. I got myself a big bottle of water. Give yourself a nice big guzzle if you do have water handy. I gotta say this though. Hold on a second. So I've got my phone plugged in as I'm doing my live. And my phone is connected to my text messages are connected to my Fitbit over here. And I keep on seeing ding, ding, ding. And it's actually the library director that I just saw last night that, was in charge of basically me coming and giving this talk. And she attended the talk. So she was there. She witnessed all of it, so she was absorbing everything I said, okay, I do not shit to you at all. Literally, as we speak, 6:53 p.m. So when I was starting to record, I officially can't read or watch anything without thinking about the tarot. I'm watching Better Call Saul, and I'm like, okay, Joker, Emperor, etc., etc. Joker, I think she means fool, but you get what I'm saying. I'm writing back, LOL, but of course. Actually, I want to watch Better Call Saul. But that is addressing some of the things that I said last night about the fool's journey and the hero's journey as spoken or as written about by Joseph Campbell, who was a comparative mythologist who wrote The Hero with a Thousand Faces and The Power of Myth. And people took his work about comparative mythology and applied it to the tarot's major arcana. And instead of it being the hero's journey, they've applied it to the fool's journey. And I actually talk about this in my book I think in the chapter about the major arcana. Hold on. I'm going to go grab my book. Of course, I piled it on top of my printer, but here's my book, How to Read Tarot. I talked about the hero's journey and the fool's journey, and basically the order of the major arcana matters. And then as you're reading, You do shuffle, and I basically gave them the homework, if it were, if they choose to accept it, to look at any TV show, any movie. You're going to see the fool's journey. You're going to see the hero's journey. Departure, the fool through the chariot. We begin and end as the fool, and the Major Arcana deck deals mostly with the fool's journey as detailed in Joseph Campbell's The Hero with 1,000 Faces. 3 major stages: departure, initiation, and return. So departure, the fool through the chariot. There's the call to adventure. There's also the refusal of the call. And then something happens where the fool has to go on the path. There's no refusing the call. They may try, but something has changed in them and they have to move forward. I likened it last night to Frodo. Frodo and the ring from like the Fellowship of the Ring, and the Lord of the Rings, basically, where it's just like he originally, like, it's just like, oh, okay, it's Bilbo's ring, whatever, and then they find out it's the One Ring, and it's like it's only him that has to do it, and there's nobody else to answer the call, basically. And then all of this happens, and then at the end of the Major Arcana is the World card, which is completion. So he does return to the Shire. I mean, spoiler alert, he does return. He does destroy the One Ring. He is successful. He does return to the Shire, but he can't stay there. He realizes his return is, he can't stay in the life that he once knew because he's been changed. And that is like a representation of the Major Arcana and the cycle of the Major Arcana. And that is part of the reason why the Fool is numbered 0. It's the beginning, but it's also the ending. It's neither beginning nor ending. It's a full circle. My friend just texted me, "You've poisoned my brain in the most delightful way." I aim to please. Yes, that's a good analogy. Yeah. Yep. I love that I've poisoned people's brains. It's fantastic. So yeah, that was one of the things that I discussed during the tarot talk. Any other questions before we move into the tapping? Because I am looking at the time and I am trying to keep this episode relatively tight, because Mr. Tarot by Hilary went out and I'm supposed to be joining him. But I also did not want a week to go by without doing the live stream, because I know you've come to expect it by now, and I've also come to enjoy and expect doing it. So, okay. So a couple of my notes on allowing yourself to feel love, which is the tapping that we're going to do tonight. There's so much evidence out there that people love you and that people want to support you, and be looking for evidence of that. If you look for evidence of victimhood, or you look for evidence that nobody loves you or that you're unlovable, you will find it. And if you are looking for evidence of love and of support, you will find that too. So we find what we are looking for. And if you are predisposed to pessimism, or if you're predisposed to negativity, you're going to find evidence of that negativity. But if you start to rewire your brain towards people loving you and people accepting you and people being willing to support you, then you're going to find evidence of that too. So let's talk a little bit about tapping and what tapping is. If you're not familiar with tapping, I'm talking about the emotional freedom technique, which is a combination of acupressure and positive psychology and neuro-linguistic programming. Basically, at the heart and at the surface of what tapping can do is that it halts the fight or flight response of the amygdala. It lowers cortisol levels, which is the stress hormone. It can make us feel calmer. It can make us feel more at peace and able to make better decisions from a better state of mind. And that's just the surface of what tapping can do. And it can be tweaked to tap on all different subjects. So tonight's episode, we're going to be doing the mini tapping that I basically did after Gala Darling did her tapping for her membership site for group tapping. Now, I am a member of that membership site, and I am also a certified EFT tapping practitioner through her program, the Gala Darling Method. I was one of the first classes to go through that program. And that happened February through April of 2022. So this was last year that I got my tapping certification. I don't have tarot certification, and I don't have that for a number of reasons, which I'm not going to go into right now because it is long and fraught with different opinions. Tarot certification is a very hot button topic. But I know that I've never once, when working with a client, not one client has ever asked me what my credentials are for tarot. I certainly do have them. I've attended a number of conferences, and I've definitely studied tarot for a very long time. But I've been reading for 26 years, and I've been reading professionally for 18 of those years. So I feel like that speaks for itself if someone was ever to ask me what my credentials are. But no, I am not tarot certified in any one particular program or ideology because no, I'm too much of a free spirit to ever really do that. But I am tapping certified through the Gala Darling Method. So that's in a nutshell what tapping is. It's basically you tap on points. You speak aloud what the aspects of the issue are, and through that you move through the issue that you're trying to work on or you're trying to heal. Tapping was originally developed for veterans with complex or regular PTSD, but I never think that there is a form of regular PTSD. All PTSD can be complex to my mind. But that was originally what tapping was developed for veterans with PTSD. And then they found so many more applications for tapping. So, and I have yet to find an issue that can't be tapped on. So, any questions about tapping before we begin? I'm going to tell you a little bit about the tapping points. I'll show you the tapping points, but all you really need to know is follow along with me, tap on the points that I do, and then repeat after me out loud. And we're probably going to have some water beforehand, and we're probably going to have some water after. And some of you who have been watching this live stream for a very long time, you know what tapping's about because we've done a couple of tappings on this live stream before. So I'm gonna drink some water. While I drink some water, you can feel free to drink some water as well. Good question. So Fran has a question. Does it matter what hand? No, does not matter what hand. Most of the time, it's dominant to non-dominant. So for sleight of hand, so I'm just going to go through the points, but the answer is no. So I usually do dominant hand to non-dominant hand for sleight of hand point. This is formerly called the karate chop point, but now we have matured in our language, and we know that language and what things are called is important. So we don't call it that anymore. It is sleight of hand. So it's the fleshy bit on the outside of your hand. So this is the first point, and you can tap, you don't have to like abuse yourself. You just tap with enough pressure. And as if you were tapping someone's shoulder in a loud concert to get their attention. That's about the pressure you would need. So that's sleight of hand. And this is where we tune into the issue. So sometimes for some tapping videos or protocols or scripts, you may not use this at all. But in this particular one, I did tune in using sleight of hand. So that's sleight of hand. And to answer Fran's question, does it matter which hand? No. You can do it this way too. And sometimes I'll alternate. Just depends. Now, when we go through the tapping points, the way I've been instructed by Gala and the way Gala likes to tap is she called it originally power tapping, but she uses both hands. Now, you don't have to use both hands. It's just as effective with one hand, and you'll see a lot of practitioners doing it one-handed. I see that Veronica has a question. I'm gonna answer that one. So you can use one hand, it doesn't matter which hand, or you can use two hands, doesn't matter which hand. And if you have large tracts of land like me, you can always tap on the underarm point with the same arm or the same hand. So let me quickly run through the points, and then I'm going to answer your question, Veronica. So crown of the head, start of the eyebrows, temples or side of eye, more side of eye than temples, honestly. Try and get as close to the corners of your eye, outside of your eyes as possible without, blinding yourself, but you'll feel it. You'll feel the difference. Under the eye, so kind of the bone right there. Under the nose, so you can either do one finger here or you can do two fingers here. Under the mouth and above the chin, so this little dimple right here. Collarbone. You can either do it this, or this. Under the arm, like where your bra strap hits, or you can do across like this, and then wrist to wrist together. That is the tapping points that I learned from Gala Darling through the Gala Darling method. You may see other tapping practitioners that may start on eyebrows, not even do wrist to wrist together, and then end at crown of head. It's really, if you miss a point, it's not a big deal. And you can't really do it wrong. It's very forgiving in that way. So those are the tapping points. And as you go through it, I'm going to continue I'm doing it with you, so you'll kind of get the hang of it. All right, to answer Veronica's question, I feel squirmy just reading the topic of the stream. If I get emotional while tapping, is that a sign things are going well or that I should stop? It's a sign that it's working. So thank you for asking this question, because that is a release. So that is a sign that the tapping is working. So some common releases that happen with tapping, or signs that you know that the tapping is working or is effective, is getting emotional, tearing up, crying, yawning, hiccuping, burping, farting. Any kind of releases that happen on the massage table, if you're getting a massage, that is also a sign. If it happens during tapping, that's a release. Eyes watering too. That's also a sign of getting emotional while tapping. That's a sign of resistance too. And usually the more important the thing to tap on, or the more necessary the tapping is, the more resistant you're going to feel. I'm going to keep this comment on screen while I go get my prayer book, basically, my guidebook from the Gala Darling method, because I want to talk to you about resistance before we get started. Because this is the reason why I'm doing the tapping for this week's episode of the Tarot by Hilary live stream. Because when I did this tapping, before I started doing the mini tapping, I was just like, oh, I don't need this tapping. Like as I was going, as I was supposed to go, was going through it, like I was about to start the tapping, like following along with Gala and with everybody else that was on the Zoom call on Sunday. I'm just like, I don't really need this tapping. Like, this is not a topic that really is resonating with me. Oh boy. Once I started tapping, Veronica, I felt the same way as you. I felt squirmy. I felt emotional. I started crying. I'm just like, oh my God. Okay, I am not accepting of love. I could be way more accepting of love. And the big realization that I felt that you may notice in the words that I say during the tapping, I realized that love sometimes is about vulnerability. And it sometimes means, like, my realization was, of course, some people don't love me because I have not allowed them to know me. And if they don't know me, how can they love me? Of course, they don't love me. I haven't allowed them to know me authentically. Because once people get to know me, they love me. That was my big realization. Maybe your realization might be something different. And I would encourage you to keep water handy and also to keep a notebook handy and to be specific about what's coming up for you in the tapping. Add to the words that I'm saying. If something else comes up for you that's very personal to you, the more specific you are when you're tapping, the more effective the tapping can be. So hold that thought. I'm going to go grab the book. Go, darling method. Notice at the top, I deeply and complete love and accept and forgive myself, which is a phrase that you're going to hear a lot in tapping. It's one of like the golden phrases of tapping. Let me see if I'm already, yep. My bookmark, which is my business card. Releasing resistance. It's right here. I talk about resistance a lot with my tarot clients, a lot with my tapping clients. The more important a call or action is to our soul's evolution, the more resistance we will feel toward pursuing it. It's a quote from Stephen Pressfield, who wrote the War of Art and Do the Work. Great books, by the way. Resistance is a sneaky little devil, and it pops up much more often than we think. Signs of resistance include, but are not limited to, not wanting to tap in the first place, forgetting what you're talking about while you're tapping, basically disassociating, getting distracted by something else in the room, feeling a deep urge to do almost anything else. Veronica, is that you right now? Zoning out or feeling dissociated. How to break through resistance. So we may want to use some of these phrases. Tap on, even though I'm feeling massive resistance, I deeply love and accept and forgive myself, or however you're feeling. Recognize that it is your subconscious trying to keep you safe. Your subconscious is very, very smart, folks. Don't punish yourself for feeling resistance, and remember that it's normal. It's very normal. Tell yourself the size of this resistance is showing me how beautiful the change will be on the other side. Yeah, the War of Art. If you want to know more about resistance, War of Art by Stephen Pressfield is a really good one. But yeah, it happens all the time, all of the time. And maybe, Veronica, maybe right now, don't do the tapping. Don't do this tapping. You have my permission to not do this tapping if you're feeling really triggered by it. But I would encourage you, especially if you're saying, I am 99% resistance. But I would recommend tapping on the resistance itself. Even though I am feeling massive resistance to this topic that Hilary wants to tap on, I love and accept and I forgive myself. Oh, I forgive myself that I would rather be doing anything else than this tapping. I forgive myself being a little bit of a chicken shit about it, because that is entirely normal to not want to do this thing. I don't know what's going to come up from that tapping. Therefore, I don't want to tap on it at all. Notice that I'm yawning a little bit here. Even though I'm feeling this resistance, this massive resistance, I love and I accept and I forgive myself. It is easier to think that I am just unlovable than to think I am lovable or worthy of love. It is easier to be resistant than to be open and vulnerable. It is easier to put up my walls than to take them down. Or whatever else may be coming up for you. Ooh, I'm like tingly. Ooh, okay. Katie says, I've yawned 3 times already as soon as you started. Exactly. So, Veronica, I would say put a pin in this. You can certainly watch. You don't have to tap. And this is true for everyone that's watching right now, whether you're watching live or you're watching the replay. If you feel like you're not ready to tap on this yet, I get it. I understand. Walk away from it for a little bit. But I would ask yourself, and I would journal on this, why am I so resistant to tapping on this? Why am I so resistant to tapping at all? And maybe you want to choose something easier. Choose something easier to tap on. Sometimes it's about gaining that confidence or gaining that bravery, to tap on the big things. We got to tap on the little things before we tackle the big things. So you have my permission to not tap on this. But I would say, if I get emotional, is it a sign that things are going well? Yes, it's a sign that the tapping is working. But only you can determine when you're ready. And sometimes you will never feel ready to do something. And now that I've scared everybody, are we ready to tap? So I'm going to make this window a little bit smaller so that I can look at my notes. Nice. All right. Veronica says I'm ready to give it a try. Awesome, Veronica. You're a trooper. Fran says tap, tap, taparoo. All right. Let's go. All right. So drink a little bit of water. Yep. And tap on that too, Katie. The more scared I am, the more scared I am, the more I challenge myself to do it. It means I obviously need to do it. That's how I think about it too. So first, I want y'all, drink your water. If you have your water handy, drink it. I will warn you though, sometimes the releases happen very, very quickly, and sometimes they are extreme in nature. Like there was one time that I was on High Vibe Honey when I was on like the group tapping, and I wasn't even involved in it. I was just a participant. It was so strong that I ended up having to go to the bathroom. And I'm not going to be gross about it, but and it was like so immediate. And usually what happens after the group tapping is there's like honey hive where we all like get put into different rooms of like 3 to 4 people, and we just discuss the different topic that we tapped on. And I was just like, I love you all. I really want to talk, but I have to go to the bathroom. I have to heed nature's call because it is extreme. So releases can happen that way too. So prepare yourselves. All right. Yes, tissues too. Water ready. Tissues ready. All right. Water. Good. Good. Okay. And I'll be monitoring the chat as well, but after side of hand. I'm going to be using the words that I used this past Sunday that were very effective, but I may go with where I'm feeling too. So, and remember, this is a mini tapping. And if you want to work with me on your own issues, if you want to tap with me and have me guide you through some of this, you can work with me at tarotbyhilary.com. I do have tapping sessions available too. All right, side of hand. Let's go. Even though I am feeling really resistant to accepting love, I deeply and completely love and accept and forgive myself. I acknowledge that a part of me wants to put up a barrier. I put up barriers because it's safe or it feels safer. But I'm ready to surrender those barriers now. I am ready to let love take over in whatever form it's ready to come to me right now. Being vulnerable is a superpower. And I'm ready to tap into that superpower. I am ready to start to forgive anyone in my life that's told me it's not safe to be vulnerable with them. Maybe they weren't taught how to love. Maybe I'm their unwitting teacher. Maybe they weren't taught how to love. Maybe they were taught that love isn't safe, or that it's a trap, or that it's risk. And maybe I am their unwitting teacher. I am ready to start accepting love in all of its forms. I am ready to let down my guard and let love in. Even though it feels really, really, really unsafe. Even though I would rather do anything else. I'm ready to let love in. I'm ready to let love in. I'm ready to be loved. Take a deep breath in. Hold it. And let it go. Ooh, burpee. All right. Checking in. How is everybody feeling? What came up for you, if anything? Guilt. All right. If you want to tell us more about that, Fran, or less, or if you know what the guilt's about, then feel free to add that into whatever it is I say on the main rounds. Katie's not ready. Katie's not ready, LOL. And if you disagree with what I'm saying when I'm tapping, you could rephrase it. In fact, I encourage you to rephrase it. I'm not ready. I'm not ready to let love in. I want to be ready, but I'm not ready. I want to be ready, but I'm not ready. I want to be ready, but I'm not ready. I want to be ready, but I'm not ready. Or however many iterations you need to do. Okay. Just guilt for being a cast iron, ... But remember, that's a defense mechanism. That's a security blanket. Your past self is incredibly smart. And that's part of tapping too, is recognizing the defense mechanisms, the subconscious patterns. That's coming from a very smart place. You have learned. That's a learned behavior. That's protection. But if you're willing to start releasing it, or willing to entertain the prospect of not being cast iron bitch or acknowledging it, there's hope for you to be able to put that armor down, you know? Yeah. Which is why I'm doing the tapping. Exactly what you said, Hilary. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I want to be ready, but I'm not ready. All right. Anything else come up? Especially Veronica. Veronica, did we lose you? Did you try? And sometimes I use that in the words as well to personalize it. Even though I'm not ready to accept love, I deeply and completely love and accept and forgive myself. I accept that I am not ready, but I want to be ready. I want to be ready. I'm willing to dip my toe into the possibility of being ready to be accepting of love. Okay. Yes, I yawned a lot and cried a little. Okay. Well, I mean, I will warn all of you that the feedback that I got from everyone after Gala's tapping and then my tapping was Gala made me blank and Hilary made me ball. Which is like the 1-2 punch. I can't remember exactly what she said. But I did save, where is it? I need to find it because I did save the feedback that I got in the chat. Here it is. Yes. Yeah. Gala had me yawning and Hilary had me bawling. So it's a powerful one. It's hard. Now that I've said that, and now that you've thought about it, are we ready for the main tapping? Because that's just the tuning in. We're tuned in. We're tuned into this topic. All right. All right. Man, I don't want to do this either. I'm looking at my notes and I'm just like, I don't want to do this either. I don't want to do it either. All right. All right. Drink a little bit more water. You're probably going to need to pee something fierce afterwards. Drink a little bit of your iced coffee if you have it. All right, rub your hands together. Shake your head. Release your neck. Starting at the top of the head. Tap on the points that I do and repeat after me. I am ready to be soft. I am ready to be pliable and flexible. I am ready to let love start working through me. And maybe love has been hard for me in the past. But today I am ready to let it be easy. I am ready for people to love me. Because those people that don't love me, they probably don't know me. And maybe that's my fault. Maybe I haven't allowed anyone to get to know the real me. Maybe I have put up walls or been a cast iron bitch to protect my heart. But I'm ready for that to stop. Here I am, ready to let love in. Ready to be deeply and authentically known. Even the parts of me that may be unlovable, because it's not up to me to decide what parts are unlovable or not. So even though in the past, it's been hard for me to accept love, I deeply and completely love and accept and forgive myself. I am ready to take that defense mechanism down. In a burst of smoke and fire and pink glitter or whatever the fuck else I want to envision. And after the rubble clears, emerge as a new me. Ready for lasting love. Platonic or sensual or passionate or friendship. It doesn't matter to me. I am ready for love. I am ready for love. I am ready to be embraced by the world and be 100% me. I am ready to start being ready. I understand my past self was so smart to put up walls. But I'm ready for those walls to come a-tumbling down. I am ready to accept love. Take a deep breath in. Hold it and breathe into your heart chakra. And breathe into your heart chakra. And let it all go. And gurgle. How is everybody feeling? Mm-hmm. It's felt a lot like lying. Okay. So, Veronica, I would suggest journaling on these concepts and work more on sleight of hand and tuning in and talking to yourself about the concepts of love and being accepting of love. And you may need to do a little bit more on the front end to start to believe the back end of I am ready for love. Because this is a mini tapping. So it can only do, a little bit, it can only do so much. And the needle may move slightly, or it may feel that you're lying to yourself about it because you may not be ready for the things that you're saying you're ready for. So a part of tapping is leaning into how you feel right now and then talking yourself through while tapping on how you want to feel. And this is something that you can go deeper with a tapping practitioner like myself to really work on your specific issues. So there's only so much that a general tapping like this can do, but I would encourage you to do some journaling. And also I would encourage you to take a look through some of the EFT tapping videos that I have on my YouTube channel. They're not all by me. In fact, a lot of them are by Gala Darling. There's some by Tap Into Magic. There is some by Brad Yates. There's some by Danny Lent as well. And see who speaks to you and who appeals to you and which topics they've tapped on that is around this concept. Because you may find that I'm not the right tapping practitioner for you. But the beauty of tapping is that you will find someone that is your vibe and can work specifically on what you're working on. Fran said, good, got some insight. Cool. Yep. Katie says, suddenly very tired, lots and lots of yawning. And then with tapping, I would always suggest after tapping, giving your body what it's asking for, giving your body what it needs. And so you may feel like a lot of stuff was moved through tapping and you may feel like you want to sleep, and that is completely fine. I encourage you to stay hydrated, get lots of hydration, lots of water, and go to bed early if you can, or take a nap. I know that you're in a different time zone. And I know right now probably might not be the right time for you to go and take a nap, but maybe it is. Who knows? And yeah, Katie's saying, yes, some phrases hit more than others. You're never going to be able to get 100% hits on the phrases, but some of the phrases that do hit, when they hit, whoo! The phrase love and accept myself can be one of the most difficult. Absolutely. And that's why it's one of the golden phrases. We usually go right back to that. And that's hard for people too. Hold please. There's like a list that I think I wrote down, or there's one that was in here about like, what phrases can I say other than I love and I accept and I forgive myself? Because I'm not there yet. I don't think I love and I accept and I forgive myself. So what other phrases can I say? I don't know. The key phrase, I deeply and completely love and accept and forgive myself. Work in love, acceptance, and forgiveness of those who have impacted the issue, and flirt with the opposite belief. And where is it here? Yeah, always hydrate. Yeah, I can't remember what the list was, but there was definitely a list of like, if you can't manage to get to love and accept and forgive myself, there's other phrases that you can use. Oh, that's awesome. So Fran's referencing last week's mid-episode reading about her dream. I think I remember where I left my boarding pass. Whoo! Good. Okay. All right. And if you're not familiar with what we're talking about, you just have to go back to last week's episode. I'm not going to explain it. All right. Any other questions? Because the thing that came up the most for me for this particular tapping was there are so many people that love and want to support you. And the phrase that really got me, and the phrase that I incorporated into my tapping, so it's not something that Gala said in her tapping. This tapping that I brought you through, this little mini tapping, was all 100% me. But the part that came up for me that I then incorporated into my mini tapping that I shared with the rest of the group and with you tonight was the people that I'm ready for people to love me, because those people that don't love me, they probably don't know me, and maybe that's my fault. I'm like, oh shit. Like, okay, that is something that I never considered. That was my big aha. And that'll happen with tapping, and just remembering that'll happen. And then when you're tapping, if you're doing it, if you're following along with someone's video, or you're like, or if you are a tapping practitioner, you're leading somebody else through a tapping, those are the kind of things that I look for. And then I double down on those things. Especially when, yeah. Yeah. Mine too. That's part of the hard part about doing a group tapping like this, is that I can't see you. I can't see your reactions. I can't see when you're yawning. I can't see when your eyes are watering. I can't see when you're hiccuping or crying or laughing. I can't see any of that. So because I can't see that, I then can't know what's hitting you at a particular time, and then I can't follow it down. So when I was doing the tapping for the High Vibe Honey members, this was over Zoom, and a lot of people had their cameras on, but their microphones muted. So I could see when people were yawning. So I could see the releases happening. And that is what I've been taught as a tapping practitioner, to follow down those releases, to know, oh, okay, this is working. This phrase on this point is working. Let's continue along those lines. Because group tapping and one-on-one tapping are two very, very different things. And one-on-one tapping, we can get so much more specific. And I usually will spend a lot of time in the investigative process of the issue that you're working on. And then I'll ask questions about those issues. And I will go deep, not to traumatize you or re-traumatize you, but to get to the root of the issue. Because sometimes it's not the issue that you think you want to tap on that ends up being the thing that you tap on. And if people want examples of that, let me know. We also do have people that are in this group watching this video that I have done specific tappings with. So I may not be describing it entirely thoroughly, but let's see. I have experienced tapping, being guided by a tapping practitioner, and then I have also been the tapping practitioner providing the tapping. And then I do have a couple of videos up on my YouTube channel about different topics. And I plan on adding at least 2 more tapping videos in the next 2 weeks. One of which I believe is going to be a tapping on healing first impressions that went wrong. And the other one may be on, I think, perfectionism, but I may have already done that. I'm not quite sure. So if you're interested in tapping and you're interested in, if there's a particular issue that you want to tap on, you can either book me for a tapping session, tarotbyhilary.com, or let me know what issue you want to tap on. And if it's appealing to the general masses, I might produce a video on it. Katie says, I was thinking that being open to love and yet having good boundaries is something that would give more confidence to being open to love. Yeah. Yeah. And actually I did a tapping on boundaries. I did a tapping on boundaries, and I don't necessarily know if part of that was in there, but it's a good part. It's definitely a good part, and it should be in there. All right. Well, thank you all for participating in the tapping. I know it was hard for some of you. There was a lot of reluctance, actually, from the High Vibe Honey group originally when doing this tapping, both versions of it, both Gala's and mine. But the closer you are to the issue and the more resistance that you're feeling on tapping on that issue, the more important it probably is to do that exact thing. Do the thing. Do the thing. Yeah. Also accepting that there are things people won't like about us. Right. And oftentimes the things that people don't like about us are the things that we cannot control, Oof. That's a real doozy, isn't it? All right. Is everyone ready for the weekend forecast? I know I am. I don't know if I'll be able to go to this event that I'm supposed to be going to. I think I might have to go sleep for a million years. Just a reminder that we do these episodes every Friday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, sometimes 6:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, depending on what traffic is like. Thank you all for rolling with the fact that we started at 6:45 tonight instead of 6:30. If I'm not going to do it, if I'm not going to do the live stream, I will definitely let you know. Katie's ready for the weekend forecast. How about everybody else? Ready for the weekend forecast? Where's my ticker? Where's my weekend forecast crawler? Aha, there it is. There it is. And Fran says, whoop, whoop. Okay. All right. So I'm going to pull from the Starseed Oracle because this happens to be a deck that was to hand today. So, oh, shoot. I grabbed my phone off of the charger to tell you guys about that, the text messages that I was getting, and I never put it back on the charger. Oh, silly me. All right. Back on the charger it goes. Okay. So we're going to do the Starseed Oracle. So this is by Rebecca Campbell by artwork and with artwork by Danielle Noel, who did the artwork for the Star Child Tarot and the Moon Child Tarot. Just happened to have this to hand. I actually used this in an email reading earlier this afternoon. And, I got feedback from that client right away. It was a three card email reading, so 3 tarot cards and then an oracle card on top of it. I sent it. I walked away to get a glass of water, and I came back, and the response was already there. Like, this reading was profound. Thank you so much. I will definitely be booking you again. I'm like, okay, clearly I am doing something right. I'm on the right track. I've never seen anyone respond so fast to an email reading. So that was kind of nice. All right, weekend forecast. What do we most need to know about this weekend, beside the fact that Venus is going retrograde and we shouldn't be cutting her hair, even though I really, really want to cut my hair. I need a haircut. My hair is just too long at this point, but I gotta wait. I'm not tempting fate by getting a haircut during Venus retrograde. Teresa told me it's a no-no, so I will hold out. So Venus retrograde, Sun moving into Leo. It's Leo season, y'all. But what else do we need to know for this weekend? Ooh. This is a really, really pretty card. Oh my God. I feel like, okay. This is going to be a terrible interpretation. By terrible, I mean funny. But Fran says, I got my hair cut yesterday, a day late, $1 short. Well, it's okay. You're fine. Just don't get it done tomorrow. I'm cracking myself up with this reading. I haven't even said it yet. So this is not what the card is about, but I don't know how to make this a little bit brighter because I don't have my my ring light, at least not to hand. Let me see if I can. This card is like pink, like pink clouds, pink fluffy clouds, pink. I was just talking to Mr. Tarot by Hilary, and I was just like, maybe I should invite your sister to go see Barbie this weekend. I'm like absolutely obsessed. It's bad. Like bubblegum Barbie pink. This is not what this card is about, but I'm just seeing all of this pink and I'm just like, go see Barbie this weekend? Like what? Like what's going on here? But that's my interpretation. But that's not the actual interpretation. I will tell you the real interpretation. It's like Barbie. It's like Barbieheimer. Double feature Barbie and Oppenheimer. Like that's what I'm seeing. Okay, cool. So I'm not the only one. Good. Or at least I've cultivated enough of you weirdos that we're all seeing the same thing. I was just thinking Barbie pink. Uh-huh. This is our favorite thing. Uh-huh. Okay. So now the real interpretation. So I don't know exactly how to pronounce this, but it's called Hiraeth. Hiraeth. I am probably pronouncing that wrong. Longing for home, homesick for the stars. So I think this might be a Welsh word. Let's take a look. Yes, Welsh. Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely pronouncing that wrong. I used to know Welsh. Not a lot of it, but I'm used to know enough of it. Like my both of my parents are originally from England. So I am English, Welsh, and Irish. No, not Irish, Scottish. I think I'm English, Welsh, and Scottish. Not Scottish. Wait, yes, Scottish. English, Welsh, Scottish. Not Irish. And so my aunt would always speak to me in Welsh, and then I would answer in English, and she would get really mad. And now I'm mad in retrospect because I don't remember a damn bit of Welsh. So, but anyway, this is a Welsh word that's difficult to translate, but it refers to a certain longing or homesickness, a yearning for a home or a place to which we cannot return. This unexplainable, unshakable longing for home is common in starseeds and old souls. Perhaps you've had it since birth. For some, it's a distant memory of a planet, galaxy, or star system in the universe that their soul remembers and yearns to return to. A place that they may have experienced more than Earth. For others, it's a longing for the unity of Source, a remembering of interconnected oneness. This yearning can lead some starseeds to travel, searching all corners of the planet to find a physical place that feels more like home. For others, it can manifest as a need to find home in people, communities, and relationships, a journey to find somewhere they truly belong. If you resonate with this yearning for home, but don't really know where home is, you're being invited to remember that your soul chose to be on Earth. You're being called to fully commit to embodying your life. You're being reassured that you didn't come here alone and that your soul consciously decided to experience what it's like to be a soul in a human body on this planet at this time. You're being called to anchor all of your presence, your personality, your soul, and your spirit in the here and now, to fully commit to living this life right now, to commit to putting 2 feet completely in. How can you commit more fully to your life? Feeling a little called out. Feeling a little called out. Wow. Okay. All right. Okay. I know all of you so enjoy when the cards come for me. But you know what? They're coming for you too. So exactly, Fran. And back to the tapping. Yeah. We've got more to tap on, folks, but that's for another time. Maybe I will go to this party. It's not really a party. It's more of a get-together. All right. Well, I think that wraps up this episode. Katie, exactly, Fran, nailed it. All right, man, what a weekend forecast. And then last week's weekend forecast, I literally had to pee so badly. I truncated the message. I read just a little bit of the command book, and then I'm just like, all right, you got the gist. I gotta go. I rarely do that, but I needed to do that. Otherwise, I was gonna pee myself. We get real here on the Tarot by Hilary live stream. Once again, thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Can't do it without you. And I'm just waiting for this comment to pop up because it's so nice. Thank you, Hilary. What an episode. Once again, what an episode. Just a reminder that we do these episodes every Friday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or 6:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, depending on what the traffic does. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. You as well. Fran saying thank you. You're very welcome. All right. Can turn that off and turn that off and turn that off. Let's see. Okay. Okay. So once again, I am Hilary, professional tarot reader and EFT tapping practitioner, demystifying the mystical and putting you in touch with the most beautiful gifts, your own intuition, because yes, my friends, do not argue with me. You have intuition. So remember that longing for home. Go see Barbie this weekend. That is how I do readings, I guess. You know, it's like 1 foot in the sacred, 1 foot in the silly. Don't take life too seriously, folks. All right. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you again next week. Same bat time, same bat channel, Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye.